The spider, a tiny creature with the power to weave intricate webs, holds the key to a story passed down through generations in Africa. But behind its web lies a deeper tale of survival, wit, and the profound connections that bind the world together. This ancient story is not just about a spider, it's about the birth of something much greater. Why is the spider so significant in African folklore? What does its web represent beyond just a structure for survival? In this story, the spider's web is not just a tool. It's a symbol of life itself, of interconnectedness, and of the wisdom passed through centuries. How did the spider's web come to embody these universal truths? In African cultures, animals are often seen as more than just creatures. They're symbols of wisdom, strength, and creativity. The spider in particular is a revered figure. As both a trickster and a teacher, its web carries a deeper meaning that transcends generations. This story is a blend of ancient wisdom and timeless symbolism, showing how even the smallest creature can weave the most intricate, life-changing connections. Stay with us as we uncover the origin of the web, both in the natural world and in the world of the internet, and explore the moral lessons this ancient African story continues to teach us today. It's a tale of connection, survival, and how everything, no matter how small, has a place in the grand web of life. The spider has always been a figure of immense importance in African folklore. Known for its intelligence, wit, and resilience, the spider is often portrayed as a trickster, someone who can outsmart even the most formidable foes. One of the most famous spider figures in African mythology is Anansi, a cunning character from West African tales. Anansi's stories have traveled across the world, from the Caribbean to the Americas, evolving into various forms, but always retaining the essence of his cleverness. Spiders are not just creatures of the wild in these stories. They are powerful symbols of resourcefulness and wisdom. They remind us that even the smallest beings can possess extraordinary strength. The spider's web, a masterpiece of natural engineering, becomes a representation of life's connections, how everything is woven together, creating a web of endless possibilities and relationships. The web is a symbol of community, of how each individual thread has a role in the larger scheme of things. In many African cultures, the spider's web is not just a structure, but a reminder of the interdependence of all things. It teaches that life itself is a network, where actions and consequences are connected in intricate ways. The spider, with its delicate yet sturdy creation, embodies the balance between strength and fragility. This delicate balance in the web reflects the world's deeper truths, the way all things are bound together by invisible threads of fate, choice, and circumstance. Through the spider stories, generations have passed down the value of wisdom, patience, and ingenuity. The web, in this sense, is not just the result of the spider's work, but a living symbol of the world's interconnectedness. It's a reminder that, like the spider's web, every action, every choice we make can leave an imprint on the world, weaving our lives into a larger, more meaningful tapestry. The story of the spider's web begins with a clever creature, one who sought not only to survive, but to create something extraordinary. In the depths of the African wilderness, the spider's web was born not out of necessity, but out of a deep desire to connect, to bind, and to make the world more complete. The legend goes that the spider, known for its wit and cunning, saw how disconnected the world was. The earth was separate from the heavens, the people were far from one another, and there seemed to be no way to bridge these distances. Determined to solve this problem, the spider set out on a journey, one that would test its intelligence, patience, and ingenuity. Its first task was simple: to build a bridge that would connect the earth to the heavens. The spider knew it could not do this alone, but rather it needed to weave a structure that would carry meaning, depth, and power, just as the web would one day carry the connections between all things. Along the way, the spider encountered many obstacles. The first was the wind, a fierce force that threatened to blow its delicate threads apart. The spider had to be clever, waiting for the right moments to weave its threads, ensuring each one was secure and strong enough to withstand the gusts of wind. Yet the wind was relentless, challenging the spider at every turn. But the spider did not falter. It used its wit, adjusting its strategy and weaving tighter with each passing moment. It understood that even the smallest adjustments, if done with precision, could make a world of difference. Another challenge was the earth itself. The spider had to build a web that could stretch between the heavens and the earth, and at times, the distance seemed impossible. How could such a small creature bridge the gap between two realms so vast and distant? But the spider, never one to give up, kept weaving. It understood that small actions over time could create monumental results. With each thread it spun, it bridged the divide, slowly but surely. The web, although delicate, was strong in its resilience. As the spider continued its work, it realized that each thread it spun represented more than just a connection. It was a bond. A bond between the physical and the spiritual, between the seen and the unseen, between the heavens and the earth. Each strand of the web carried meaning, each one representing an idea, a connection, a shared experience. The spider's web was not merely an object, it was a reflection of the interconnectedness of all things. Finally, after much perseverance, the spider completed the first web. It was no ordinary web. This was a bridge, a pathway, a connection between the heavens and the earth. With a sense of accomplishment, the spider gazed upon its work, realizing that it had not only built a physical structure, but had created a metaphor for life itself. The web was a reflection of the interconnectedness of the universe, a symbol that all things, no matter how distant, were ultimately linked together by invisible threads. The creation of the web was not just a triumph of physical strength, but a triumph of wisdom. The spider, through its work, had given the world the most powerful tool for connection, a web that could bring the heavens to the earth and unite people, ideas, and dreams across distances. The spider had not only crafted a bridge for itself, but had laid the foundation for something much greater. The understanding that everything in life is connected, just as the threads of the web intertwine to create a greater whole. In the end, the spider's web was more than just a physical object. It was a reminder that persistence, patience, and ingenuity could change the world. Through its creation, the spider had taught humanity one of its greatest lessons, that we are all interconnected, and that every thread we weave in our lives is part of a larger cosmic design. The web was not just a tool, it was a symbol of unity, a way to bind the past, present, and future together in a seamless network of life. And as it spun its web, the spider had created something much more profound, a legacy that would endure for generations. As the spider's web became a symbol of interconnectedness, it began to carry lessons that were deeply woven into the fabric of African culture. The tale of the spider's wisdom and the creation of its web was not just a story to be told by the firelight, it was a guide to understanding the world and our place within it. The web teaches us about relationships, patience, and the importance of seeing beyond the immediate. It emphasizes that all things, no matter how distant or different they may seem, are interconnected in ways that are often hidden from view. In African culture, the web represents more than just a physical structure. It symbolizes the relationships between people, communities, and even the elements of nature. The way the threads are spun together mirrors how individuals with their unique strengths and qualities are woven into the larger tapestry of society. The web teaches that every action, every choice, and every interaction we have with others affects the greater whole. It is a reminder that we are not isolated beings but part of a vast interconnected system that sustains us all. The spider's wisdom extends beyond just the concept of unity. It also speaks to the importance of resilience. The spider's patience in the face of challenges reflects the tenacity needed to overcome obstacles in life. Each thread it spun was an act of persistence, each strand a testament to the power of determination. The spider teaches us that success does not come easily. It requires sustained effort, creativity, and the ability to adapt to changing circumstances. Life, like the spider's web, is a process of continuous growth, learning, and overcoming challenges. The connection between the physical web and the relationships it symbolizes also reminds us of the importance of community. In the story of the spider, the web serves as a space where everything, no matter how seemingly insignificant, has a role to play. Just as each thread in the spider's web contributes to its strength and integrity, every individual within a community plays a part in its overall well-being. This sense of collective responsibility is a key tenet of many African traditions, where the concept of Ubuntu, I am because we are, emphasizes the importance of community and interconnectedness. The web also teaches us the power of balance. Just as the spider carefully weaves its threads, balancing strength and delicacy, we too must learn to balance the different aspects of our lives. The web's intricate design reflects the delicate equilibrium that exists in nature and society. It is a reminder that we cannot focus on one aspect of life while neglecting the others. The spider's web is a model of how every part of our lives, our relationships, our work, our dreams, and our responsibilities must be woven together in harmony to create a well-rounded, fulfilling existence. Finally, the spider's web serves as a powerful metaphor for the interconnectedness of all living things. In African belief systems, everything in the natural world is seen as connected. The animals, the plants, the sky, the earth, and the people, they all form a vast network that supports and sustains life. The web reminds us that no one exists in isolation. Our actions, no matter how small, ripple out into the world and affect others in ways we may never fully understand. The story of the spider teaches that every thread we weave in life matters, and that the smallest connections can create monumental effects. Through the story of the spider and its web, we learn that life is not just about surviving, it's about building connections, being resilient, and contributing to the greater good. The web represents the intricate, beautiful network of relationships, responsibilities, and experiences that shape our lives. As we navigate the complexities of our own journeys, the spider's web reminds us that we are all part of something much bigger, and that by weaving together our strengths, we can create a world that is stronger and more connected. The spider's wisdom is a lesson for all of us. It teaches that we are not solitary beings, but part of a grand, interconnected web of life. Just as the spider weaves its web with patience and purpose, we too must weave the threads of our own lives with intention, ensuring that each action we take contributes to the larger, more beautiful design that connects us all. In this way, the spider's web continues to inspire us, not only as a symbol of survival, but as a timeless reminder of the power of unity, balance, and connection. The spider's influence on African culture extends far beyond the myth of its first web. Across the continent, the image of the spider has found its way into stories, art, and traditions, carrying the wisdom of the original tale with it. Whether through the character of Anansi in West African folklore or the various representations of spiders in African artwork, the spider symbolizes far more than just a creature of nature. It embodies the qualities of intellect, perseverance, and interconnectedness. In many African cultures, Anansi is seen as a trickster and a teacher, a character who uses wit and intelligence to overcome adversity. Anansi's stories are filled with lessons on the importance of cleverness, patience, and understanding the world around us. These stories teach that intelligence and creativity can be just as powerful as physical strength. Anansi's ability to weave stories, much like the spider's ability to weave its web, demonstrates the power of connection, the ability to see the world in a different way, and the wisdom that comes from understanding how things are connected. The image of the spider is also prevalent in African art, where it often represents the web of life, the interconnectedness of all things. In traditional African weaving techniques, the design of the spider's web is sometimes used as a motif, symbolizing the interconnectedness of people and their relationships with the natural world. The web serves as a reminder that every part of life is interdependent, and that one's actions, no matter how small, have an impact on the larger system. In African architecture, the web also plays a significant role. Many traditional African homes and structures are designed with intricate, interconnected patterns, symbolizing the importance of community and unity. These designs often reflect the same values represented by the spider's web. The idea that every individual, like each thread in a web, plays an essential role in the strength and stability of the community. These architectural designs not only represent physical shelter, but also the spiritual and social bonds that tie a community together. The spider's influence extends into the everyday lives of people as well. In African villages, the spider's web is often seen as a metaphor for the way communities are built. Just as the web is made up of countless threads that are woven together, so too is a community formed by the individual contributions of each person. The spider teaches that no one is insignificant and that everyone's actions, no matter how small, contribute to the strength of the whole. Furthermore, the spider's web continues to serve as a reminder of the wisdom that can be found in nature. African communities often look to the natural world for guidance, seeing animals like the spider as teachers who offer insights into how to navigate life's challenges. The web is not just a physical object. It is a living, breathing symbol of the world's interconnectedness. It teaches that every challenge we face is part of a larger pattern, and that our actions, no matter how small, ripple through the web of life. In this way, the spider's legacy in African culture is not just one of storytelling, but of real-world application. The lessons of the web, the value of connection, the importance of resilience, and the power of community are woven into the fabric of African life. The spider's wisdom continues to guide individuals and communities alike, showing that the key to a meaningful life lies in understanding how we are all connected. The story of the spider's web, while deeply rooted in African tradition, holds profound significance in the modern world as well. As we reflect on the spider's wisdom, we can't help but draw parallels between the ancient myth and the digital age we live in today. The web, once a physical structure spun by a tiny creature to connect the heavens and the earth, now mirrors the very network that unites our modern society: the internet. The internet, much like the spider's web, is a vast network that connects disparate points, allowing information, ideas, and people to share and communicate across great distances. In the early days of the internet, the web was viewed as a revolutionary tool, a new way to bridge the gaps between nations, cultures, and individuals. It was a space where boundaries were blurred, where knowledge could be accessed by anyone with a connection, and where relationships could be built without the constraints of geography. Just as the spider's web began with a single thread that connected the heavens to the earth, the internet started with a single line of code, a simple idea that grew into something far greater than its creators had imagined. Over time, it evolved from a basic tool for communication into a sprawling digital web, connecting billions of people across the globe. In the same way that each thread in the spider's web plays a crucial role in the integrity of the structure, every connection made on the internet, no matter how small, contributes to the vast and intricate network we rely on today. The spider's web, in its original form, was a bridge between the physical and spiritual realms, a way to connect the seen with the unseen. Similarly, the internet connects us not only to one another, but to an infinite amount of knowledge, ideas, and experiences. It allows us to access information from all corners of the world and engage in conversations that transcend the boundaries of culture, language, and time. The internet, like the spider's web, is a bridge, a tool that links the known and the unknown, the real and the virtual. However, just as the spider faced challenges in weaving its web, battling the wind, the earth, and its predators, the internet too comes with its own set of obstacles. The digital web is not without its risks. Misinformation, cyber threats, and digital divide are some of the dangers that challenge the integrity of this vast network. But just as the spider adapted and persevered through its trials, we too must learn to navigate the complexities of the digital world, using our knowledge and creativity to weave a web that is safe, connected, and meaningful for all. The spider's web also teaches us about balance. In the digital world, we must balance the wealth of information we access with the responsibility of how we share and use that information. Just as the spider must carefully balance strength and delicacy in its web, we must navigate the digital space with care, ensuring that the web we create online is one that is built on trust, empathy, and understanding. Finally, just as the spider's web symbolizes interconnectedness in the physical world, the internet serves as a powerful reminder of the connections we share in the digital realm. It shows us that, no matter where we are all part of a larger network, a global web of ideas, culture, and humanity. The internet allows us to share our stories, our dreams, and our knowledge, just as the spider's web allowed the connection of the earth and the heavens. The lesson from the spider's web is clear. No matter how small or insignificant we may feel, we are all connected. In the vast web of life, each thread matters. Every action we take, every connection we make, whether in the physical world or the digital one, has the potential to create a ripple effect that resonates far beyond our immediate reach. And just as the spider's web continues to endure, so too can our connections, if we choose to weave them with care and purpose. As we conclude the story of the spider and its web, we are left with a powerful reminder. The wisdom passed down through generations of African folklore is not confined to the past. It transcends time and continues to hold valuable lessons for us today. The spider's journey to create the first web teaches us about the importance of interconnectedness, resilience, and creativity, qualities that are just as relevant in our modern, fast-paced world as they were in the ancient past. The web, both in its physical and metaphorical form, represents the strength found in unity and the intricate, invisible threads that bind us all together. Whether it's the relationships we cultivate with others, the networks we build in our communities, or the connections we make across the globe via the internet, we are constantly weaving our own webs, sometimes without even realizing it. The lessons of the spider's web remind us to be patient, to stay resilient in the face of adversity, and to recognize that every action we take has an impact on the larger network we're all a part of. In our digital age, we must continue to build bridges, not just in our online interactions, but in our personal relationships, our understanding of the world, and our ability to come together as a global community. Just as the spider's web brings together the earth and the heavens, so too can we connect with others to create something larger than ourselves. Every thread we weave, whether in the world around us or in the virtual space we share, contributes to the creation of a stronger, more connected world. And much like the spider's web, which endures and serves as a reminder of life's interconnectedness, the bonds we create today will continue to shape our future. So, as you go about your day, think about the web you are weaving. How are your actions, relationships, and choices contributing to the greater good? What kind of connections are you making? Remember, like the spider, you too have the power to create something beautiful, something that will last and bring others together. If you found this story inspiring, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share your thoughts on how we can all weave a stronger, more connected world together. And as always, stay curious and keep exploring the wisdom of ancient tales.